Hey, welcome here to a brand new episode. I'm your host, Dr. Faith Elizabeth Nanyonga. If you're listening in today, I'd like to take this minute to thank you for each and every time that you tune in to listen to me as I teach about career development and personal development. Your support is invaluable to me, and I don't take it for granted. If it's your first time here, welcome to the Frame Solution podcast. And if you'd like to be a fan, there are 3 ways you can support this show and spread the love. Every single share, subscribe count matters, so do not think your efforts go unnoticed. The first way you could support this show is by leaving a review in Apple Podcasts. Reviews not only make the world a better place for me, as the podcast gets to many ears, but also rank our podcast higher in the podcast charts. You can subscribe to this podcast so that you do not miss out any episode as they are released. And also, you could choose to be a guest on the podcast by sending in an email. The email address is theframesolutions@gmail.com. Thank you once again. Hi, welcome here to a brand new episode. In today's episode, we're going to talk about some of the quick tips you could use to land your dream job. If you're ready to hear this, let's get started. I'm very excited for this episode because recently I landed my dream job. So it's been 2 weeks since I started my dream job, and for those that don't know, my dream job is to work in a company that lets me utilize my skills to generate therapeutics, which are usually drugs, antibodies, treatment, or vaccines for infectious diseases such as viruses, because that's my area of expertise. So recently I landed my dream job and I cannot be any happier than I am today. It's taken me a while to land this dream job because the COVID pandemic happened, like everyone knows. And also I took some time off to be a mom, to raise my son. And also the financial situation has been a little bit unclear in terms of whether companies should be funded, whether the government should invest more money in some of the research that was being done. So there was a lot of uncertainties when it came to jobs. But as I might say, I landed my dream job, and I'm going to take you through the steps that have helped me land my dream job, and I've also used them on my clients to land their dream jobs. I don't believe that you have to apply for each and every job there is when you're looking for a job. You have to have a strategy on how you apply for the jobs that you're looking for. Say for myself, as I've already told you, I got my dream job, but I didn't get it from the first application. Okay, let me take you a little bit back. So what happened is that I took time off to raise my son, and by the time it got to like 8 months, I started looking for a job. And during that time, I used to just see most of the jobs and I would apply because most of the jobs needed a PhD and I have a PhD. So I would just keep applying. I would apply to jobs in cancer research. I would apply to jobs in vaccine research. I would apply to jobs. Even I applied for a job that was in agriculture, but they were utilizing the same skills that I have. But I didn't feel like I was doing it the right way. So I did some soul searching and I sat down and I wrote down exactly what I wanted in my dream job. And in this process of applying for these jobs, it gave me the edge in such a way that I knew exactly what I needed to write in my cover letters and resumes, and it gave me the proficiency to do these applications. You know that applying for a job is actually a full-time job, especially for jobs that require you to have a PhD. You can write, you have to answer selection criteria, you have to write the cover letter, you have to edit your CV or resume to meet what the job is speaking. So through this practice of those previous applications that I did, I was able to gain the proficiency at doing it, and I became even quicker and better at writing the applications. So from August 2020 to like January 2021, I applied for around 6 jobs. And from those 6 jobs, I was called to 3 interviews. And during that point, when I was doing the interviews, I felt like, this interview, I don't think I'll be called for this job. So you go for the interview, they explain to you what the job is all about, and you're like, So that's exactly how I felt on those 3 interviews. I was very certain I wouldn't enjoy the jobs even if I was given the jobs, or I wouldn't be selected for the jobs because they didn't fit where I saw myself. What I mean is that they weren't my dream jobs. I didn't get those 6 jobs. But after that, I decided to sit down and figure out exactly what I needed out of a job. So what I did, I got job descriptions of jobs that I wanted to get, studied them very well, and employ these points that I'm going to share with you. I think there are 8 points. I might be wrong or right, but there might be 8 or 7 points that I'm going to share with you. Research the heck out of your dream job. Know what companies offer the job. Know the salary scale. Know the skills that are needed for that job. Know the people who do that job. Research the selection criteria of that job. What skills are they looking for? Is it a flexible kind of job? Is it a full-time job? Is it part-time? Does it require you to learn something new? Find each and every information that you can find about your dream job and write it down in either a spreadsheet or in a notebook. So after you've done that, get your resume and answer what the selection criteria is looking for. If they say they want a person who has this skill A, make sure that your resume is depicting that you have skill A. If they ask for training B, make sure that your resume shows that you have that training B. Correlate the job description to your exact work experience and to your resume. So after you've done that, the next thing that you have to do is go to the companies that offer that job and look at their problem statements. Their problem statements are usually missions and visions. And while you're writing your cover letter, make sure that you point out how your interests are in line with their vision and their mission statement. I would have given an example of my cover letter in this episode, but I don't think it's necessary. So let's say I've talked about that my role and my ultimate goal is to do research that results into making of drugs, vaccines, and therapeutics. I have to find that company that does that kind of work. And I write about my interest being in line with what they do. If you do that in your cover letter will leave the big pile and it will go into the short list and you'll be called for an interview. So after you've done that, the next thing that you have to do is establish your online presence. Establish your online presence in such a way that you can either utilize Twitter, you can utilize Instagram, you can utilize LinkedIn. LinkedIn, Twitter are usually the big places where you can find professional connections. So this way that when your name is put into Google, your LinkedIn profile will appear, your Twitter will appear, and your blog or your YouTube will appear, talking about your expertise, talking about the mistakes that are done in your career, giving your opinion about what you're good at in your career. So this will be enough validation to convince the hiring manager or the person who's going to give you an interview that you're the right person to be called for that interview and the right person to earn this job. So after you've established your online presence, the next thing that you need to do is to establish your personal brand. A personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. They might as well say good things about you. So you establish your personal brand by being authentic, maximizing your strength, and being who you truly are. So that when people talk about you when you're not in the room, they only have good things to say about you. And if your personal brand is intact, and it's more likely that you'll get the right connection, it's more likely that you get the right recommendation, the right sponsorship, and the right connections with different people who are willing to give you the job. So after you've established your personal brand, the next thing that you have to do is to establish your support system. Your support system are those people that are going to keep you on track of your goals. They're going to hold you accountable. They're going to keep you grounded. This might include your spouse, your immediate family members, your mentor, your coach, your colleagues, and anyone who has your best interests at heart. They're going to say oh, Faith, you said you're going to apply for virus research jobs, but why are you looking at applying for cancer research jobs? They're going to keep you grounded and they're going to help you figure out exactly how to get where you are going to go by keeping you grounded to your goals and to your future ambitions. Landing your dream job is not going to just happen when your mindset is not right. So you have to frame your mindset right to land your dream job. You're going to apply for some jobs. You won't be shortlisted for some. You'll be shortlisted for some. You're going to get negative feedback, or you're not going to get any feedback at all. But the thing is that don't give up on looking for your dream job. Also, what you can do is that you can step out of your comfort zone. Stepping out of your comfort zone means you do things that you're not used to doing. You do things that feel a little bit uncomfortable and out of your expertise. Most times you find that you're qualified for a job, but your imposter syndrome voice is telling you, but no, you won't get that job. It's whispering those negative words in your ears, telling you that you're not good enough. So get out of your comfort zone. Reach out to that connection that you've been meaning to make over the years. Reach out to that mentor that you'd like to ask for help when it comes to figuring out something in your career. Reach out to a coach that you've been thinking about getting. Like, step out of your comfort zone, because inside your comfort zone, there's no growth. But outside the comfort zone, that's where the growth happens. I hope you've learned something from this episode. And if you have, please rate and review wherever you listen to your podcast. Subscribe to this podcast. Share it with your family, friends, and those that you think are interested in career development. Also, follow me on the socials, which is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. The username is The Frame Solutions. I can't wait to speak to you in the next episode. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.